We're live. Let's close the window here. Kind of nice out. But we're going to get some people in here. If you would share it out. This is going to be a controversial one, I think. Get some people in here. If you're watching the replay, go ahead, fast forward. Unless you just want to hear me talk and say hi to people, and by all means, watch the live feed. All right, we're putting the glasses on for this. We're gonna get ourselves a bottle of water. We're doing our weekend live, and if you guys read my community posts, you're probably like, what are you talking about, Steve? So we need some more people in here. Because I'm only going to want to say this story once. Right? Right? Let's do some shout outs here. All right. We got Daniel Adami, Provost, who both say they're first. Next Gen is second. Alex Baquette, Light Bright, Red Pepper, RD Trucking. Spooby, hola. Sweet drama, says Provost. I don't know about that, but, maybe. Light Bright says, I swear, Slender, if you lose any more weight, you're going to be ripped. I wish. In the first 50, LOL. What's cracking, old man? Says old fat white guy. Grafton, TJ Jones, Serena Blackbeard. Hey, Serena. All right. So, about 6 years ago, here's story time. Story time, right? I was one of the few YouTubers in the trucking space that was actually tried out for a reality show. I bet you guys didn't know that, did you? No, my channel at that time, which is now my old channel, it wasn't much told not to talk about it too much. I'll have to look up the Facebook memories, but we'll get into the story, right? So, and if I ignore the comments, don't be offended. I'm not ignoring you. I will get to them. We'll start back with Serena, right? She said third. We'll start from there. I did have a good holiday, Rican. You did it too. All right. I get an email from a production company, and this was about 7 or 8 years ago, I believe. And I want to say closer. No, it was like 7. Yeah. Anyway, not important, right? You're like, come on, Steve, get with the story, right? And I got this email that said, hey, we've watched your YouTube channel, and we're very interested in starting a reality show with truckers. They didn't want to use Ice Road Truckers as an example, but, they kind of implied that, right? At that time, Ice Road Truckers was the #1 show, I believe, or one of their top-rated shows on the History Channel. And so this production company naturally thought that, hey, people are interested in truck drivers, right? So where can we find a plethora of truck drivers that want to be on camera? YouTube. So they contacted me. They contacted several other people who I'm still friends with today. And what I noticed is that they contacted me in Dry Van. They contacted the guy that does Rafer. They contacted the guy that does Heavy Haul. They contacted the guy that does car hauling. They contacted a guy that, and they were wanting a variety, right? Now, at that time, I just blew off the email like, oh, this is some kind of scam. And said, yeah, sure, give me a call. Here's my number, right? 2 months went by. And suddenly I get a call. I didn't hear anything on the email. Nothing, right? 2 months went by. And I get a call. It's from England. London, to be exact. So I answered the phone. Hello? Yeah, this is so and so with so and so production company, and I talked to you on the email about um, being on this reality show, and I was wanting to invite you to put up a demo reel and send it to us. I'm just like, no, no way. What's this going to cost? Absolutely nothing. It will not cost you. All right. Well, I don't have the technology or the know-how because, again, this was 8 years ago when I'm still using a camcorder, right, to put up a demo reel. It's just like, I'll tell you what, get on your webcam and record an introduction video, email that to me, and I will do the rest free of charge. All right. So I did. And what's interesting is that's when I broke my laptop because I gotten so mad at it because of the signal I was getting that I threw it against the back of the sleeper, right? It's padded, right? Except for one spot where the top bunk clicks down and it hit that metal bar, shattered the screen. But I got the email sent anyways. And again, didn't hear anything for another 2 months. I'm like, okay, whatever. No hair off my back, didn't cost me a thing, no big deal. One day I get a call from England again, and I had a trainee with me. Yeah, when can we fly someone out? Because you've made it to the next round. When can we fly somebody out, interview you, and do a demo reel with you? I'm like, are you serious? It took a half an hour convincing me that she was serious to get this done. So I called my company and I said, hey, I'm delivering in St. Louis tomorrow. Can you not have me pick up a load till the next day? Yeah, we could do that. Sweet. So I called, or the production company called, and I didn't expect them to call back, but I told them to call back because I didn't want to do an international call. And they said, okay. I said, I'll be in St. Louis at this and this time. We'll be at this and this truck stop. They met me at the Flying J there in Edwardsville. Or no. Not Edwardsville, the other one. One off of 17A, exit 17A and 255, whatever that one is. And that's where I'm going to be. Okay. So they flew a guy from Canada with all this gear, all this camera gear. And he met us at the Flying J there in 17A is what me and a friend of mine call that place. So, because it's off exit 17A, okay? And now it was interesting because he literally had this big, huge camera set up, and I'm in a 660, very narrow cabin. He's sitting there almost in my way where I can't see the mirror, and he's filming me going down the road. Meanwhile, there's all these close calls. I'm in the middle of rush hour St. Louis, right? He was going with me on a delivery. I was delivering a load of coffee over there by Edwardsville. So he's filming me, he's asking me questions, and what they liked was the fact that I was in a band, right? And so just to make a simple delivery, I had to shut the doors a bunch of times. I had to open the doors a bunch of times. I had to show the tandems being slid. He put a GoPro, mounted it on the mirror, on the hood mirror. He did close-ups of me starting up the truck. Anytime I talked, I couldn't look directly at the camera. He actually got inside the trailer while I closed the doors, and all the quirky, weird stuff you see them do on GoPros as well, which I believe Ice Road Truckers did is too. But anyways, so it was fun, and like I could see him trying to create the drama, right? He was like, all right, so what? Probably just unload me anyways, and he was like, okay, and so after dispatcher gives them to me, okay. He's trying to look for anything to create drama with, and you can see why they were trying to create drama, because it's just to follow a truck driver is boring. They got to create drama. Okay, anybody who knows anybody that was on the ice roads knows that all of that was made up. All of that was unscripted. Let's create this drama kind of thing. It's cheaper than paying for actors, right? And so once he got the gist of how I find my loads, and I wasn't an owner operator and all this other stuff, and then he's like, well, what the so and so told me you were in a band, so I kind of gave him the music, and then he was like, oh man, let's have footage of you jamming out to your own music, and I mean, it was cheesy as hell. It was cheese, and he bought us lunch. We went to Edwardsville, Flying J. He bought us lunch and had the camera rolling and interviewed us, us being me and the trainee. And it was a really good interview, and he was so impressed with me. Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn. He was impressed with me, right? And then I didn't hear anything. But I found out that they flew him in from Canada, and he was having to go back that night. So he literally flew in from Canada, filmed me, and left. Right? But cheesy experience, right? And I never heard anything. At one point, I emailed the gal from England, and she said, we've made the demo reel, you're on it, and we're shopping it to like 3 or 4 different networks. And I believe this was the same production company that had that one reality show that William Shatner was in. I forget the name of it. And so, never heard anything. Contacted a few other people that were tried out that had the similar story as mine. They were never contacted, so we figured, okay, well, we can make the cut, right? So I wonder what show ended up being, and what happened, right? The Weather Channel comes up with the TV show. It was called Loaded or something like that. It had Brenda 47. Those of you old, and she was in it. And then there was a heavy haul guy, and then a flatbed guy, and somebody else. I can't remember. I don't know if there was a 4th person or not. But I believe it was called Loaded. I could be wrong on that, right? And I watched the show. Was so horrible. I knew, and I saw what they were making up. She's like, oh man, if she doesn't get this load delivered by this, she'll not make it home by Thanksgiving, and all this, and she wasn't a lease operator, but they made it seem like she was. And she was working for Sharky's at the time. And it was like trying to take 3 driver stories and over dramatizing them to try to make it seem more stressful than it was. That's what reality shows do, okay? The show is horrible. I watched a couple episodes. I'm like, oh my gosh, what show is this? So I'm like, I wonder if this is a show I tried out for. And sure enough, at the very end of the credits was the production company. It was the show that I tried out for, and I didn't make it. And I was so glad I didn't. Brenda, her channel went to crap after that show. It burned her out, right? And she was a very happy-go-lucky person. She had a very positive attitude, all these people talking about positive YouTube channels. She was a positive YouTube channel back in the day, back when they were all positive, right? Here's how it works. When a reality show wants something, they will reach out to the people that they can make a demo reel with. It doesn't cost you money, okay? And they make a demo reel. Sometimes they even get as far as a pilot, right? And then in today's society, the way business is done in the TV industry is they shop it to several networks. So the same company that came up with shows for Discovery Channel can come up with shows for, say, the Science Channel or the Weather Channel or something, right? And so they're not limited. It's kind of like the TAs leasing out the restaurant space for the Popeyes and the Pizza Hut and all that, right? It is a rental. They pay for the show, and then the show is done. We use real life people because we don't want to pay actors, and it's a huge inconvenience to their lives. And but here's where the challenges lie in the trucking world, right? I remember talking to the little guy one time, and he said it's an amazing fact that no reality network has approached any of us YouTubers about any of this. I think it would make for a great show. All the drama, all the back and forth, all that stuff, which it would, because obviously these channels are popular for that reason, right? But they've already explored that universe in the height of Ice Road Truckers, okay? I have a friend of mine that was on the crew of Trick My Truck, and he had a lot of insight about reality TV shows. And he had mentioned to me, I mentioned to him about the show I tried out for. And he was like, yeah, because I told him, I said, I had they should follow like 5 people and like a rookie and experienced, I had all this like plot line, right? And he said that wouldn't work because it's not interesting enough. People are interesting enough. Big Rig movie was already entry of someone who's never known anything about the truck driving world, right? And if you go on was in the old days, but as far as reality show, you've got Ice Road Truckers, you got Highway Through Hell, right? Okay, so what's the difference? Okay, so Ice Road Truckers, it's obvious. We're running ice roads, we're running Alaska, we're running these roads that normally would shut American truckers down, right? Okay, Highway Through Hell. It's extreme situations in Canada, okay? To have a reality show about truckers there's a lot of risk involved, because number one, a lot of companies don't want their name plastered on the side of the truck for any bull crap, almost cursed there, any bull crap that might come across, right? How do you create drama with drivers just doing your normal everyday stuff? How do you do that and not put somebody in a bad light? A friend of mine that runs the ice roads, he says that show has literally ruined drivers' careers because they spun them in a bad light. They're actually good drivers, they're actually good people, but because of the way the show is edited, they can't find a job in the States now because of that show. Okay? And if there's any interest in a trucking TV show whatsoever, it's going to be made by a production company such as the one that does Highway Through Hell, the other one that was on the Weather Channel, Ice Road Truckers. These companies create demo reels out of, like Deadliest Catch, Hoarders, all these kind of shows, right? And they have to fluff the facts. They have to initiate some kind of response that will make you keep watching, okay? And it costs nothing to be exposed to these production companies. That's what I'm getting at. They flew a guy out to film little old boring work and got the most chipper, most positive YouTuber out there at that time, who was Brenda 47, right? And They probably saw this as there's nothing we can work with. We can only work with the band thing for so long. You know, you got to think of your mind of a producer, right? And so you could have the most dramatic, most touching, most life-changing story, and there are a lot of them out there, but it doesn't it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be on national television in front of millions of people. Now, when it comes to books, anyone can go out and write a book, publish it on the internet, on Amazon, and boom, you're a national selling author. I have a friend, it's kind of crazy, and he wrote a book. And just like a musician can as a musician, you can record music and put it on this website, come up with a CD cover and everything, and you can have CDs mass produced, have your stuff on iTunes and Spotify and physical CDs and everything for a fee. Well, book companies do the same thing. You can publish, anybody can be a published author now, okay? And you can distribute it with one of the biggest distributors in the world, with being Amazon. Now, at that point, it becomes a marketing thing. How are you going to market this book? How are you going to market this CD? How are you going to market this TV show? That is there are a million ways to do that don't cost you a whole lot of money. So, I never heard from any production company ever again. And the interest in trucking shows, I was later told that a friend of mine that was also tried out, he actually called to the show. And they said, well, the interest for a trucking show just horrible that they couldn't get followers anyways. Who watches the Weather Channel for reality shows, right? And it was horribly done. If anybody who's a truck driver watched that show, they were like, whatever. Just people that run the real ice roads, look at the Ice Road Trucker show and laugh at that. So, with that being said, let's go to the comments. No, it was not Naked and Afraid, Spooby. RD Trucking has been talking a lot of smack about you, Snorlord. Nittany Lion, what's up? Juan. The Hool, Les D. Big Rig Bill, what's up? Your beard wasn't long enough back then. You're Duck Dynasty ready now, right? bigrigceo. I got to give props to bigrigceo. He did a really good live feed last night. Rick Yam didn't come out too bright. Right, the Hool. And a friend of mine is best friends with him. That's how he got into the ice road trucking. And he said that Rick's actually a pretty good dude. What is the $100,000 question, TJ? So I've been hearing reports that for a fee, you can be a part of this marketing campaign that will put you in cahoots with these production companies and publishing companies. And I did the math on that. 750 times 20 is $15,000. I can go to Music Center or Guitar Center. I could buy a guitar. I could buy an amp. I could buy the software. I don't even have to buy an amp. I could buy the software that has all the instruments plus drums, record a song, and by the end of the day, have it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, have physical CDs made, have an album cover made, all by the end of the day, and I'm the one who gets all the royalties from that, right? And it's just a matter of how you market that. How are you going to differentiate yourself from the mass people that are also doing the same thing? See, that's the key, right? And so when you invest the money, you invest the money in the product, in making the product. And I'm here to tell you that making CDs and making books is not that expensive. And if the production company likes you, they will do all the work for your demo reel themselves. So I didn't even have to, the lady went out of her way to take a bunch of my videos and be like, yo, man, I'm Steve. I'm Snorlord Steve Allington, and I'm a Metalhead raw. It's like Beavis and Butthead, right? And they like that. And so when they saw the real me and saw that I wasn't like, but I imagine that was the character they would have had me play had I made the show. And so recent events on YouTube has made me think, wow, that's interesting, because I've already been down this path 7 years ago and it didn't do anything for me, but yet it didn't cost me anything as well. So you got a weird sense of humor, you know that? Back in the day, when I was in the band, I had to rent. Hey, what's up? No, RD hasn't. You, John. I don't know what that means. Anyways, so that's the only drama, is that I believe that there's some stuff being put out there that I don't know if I trust it 100%. Buyer beware, I guess, would be the proper term. And there's been other stuff in the past from different people asking for money. It comes to fruition, I guess, with said money. So I'm just, buyer beware. I mean, what you want to do with your money is up to you. But I'm here to tell you that if there is some kind of nationally syndicated show that's going to do something wrong, maybe I'll eat my words at the end of January. But if it's like 2020 or 60-minute style piece, that is, I don't know if that's worth $750. And that's not how it works. If 60 Minutes wants to interview you, they will find you. And if they say, hey, do you know 10 other guys that want to be interviewed? Let's say 60 Minutes calls me and says, hey, Steve, you're so boring and awesome that we want to do a story about you. But we also want you to pick 10 of your closest friends so we can all do a story about you. Okay. I'm not going to charge, or, scenarios or situations. And then I'm going to like, here's the interesting people that you want for your TV show. And while we have a lot of stories that deserve to be heard, like the one like James Rogers has dealt with, or I believe that Red Monkey Trucking has an interesting story. All of us have an interesting story in the background. I get that. I mean, everybody has a story. I mean, that's what, I mean, look at YouTube. We all have a story that we're talking about, right? But It shouldn't cost you money to tell that story, especially if it's a good story. Now, it's all about who you know, right? And if you create enough noise in the YouTube universe, you can have these people seeking you out like they found little old me back 7 years ago. Now, granted, there's more competition. There are YouTuber truckers that are way more interesting than me, have way more following than me. I am not a hair on their back compared to what producers are looking for. In other words, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be on the next Ice Road Truckers. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be on the next crappy Weather Channel, trucking show, right? And there is not, I don't care who you are, there is not enough that a national like ABC, NBC, CBS is going to do anything with, unless it's a news report, which we all know from the Abe Atala incident that whenever the news gets a hold of what we do, it never spins us in a good light, right? It never spins us in a good light. And you'll be hard pressed to find a trucking company that wants to put their name on the side of a trucking show that's going to put you and your company in a bad light. There's too much lawsuits. If you guys look at like one time I was hanging out with Tex Crowley and he was needing footage of trucks going down the road. I was hanging out with him. We were in Huntsville, Texas. And he was wanting, he wasn't interested in the Werners and the Swifts or any trucking company with a big logo. He was looking for the trucks like mine. I didn't have this truck at that time, but like trucks like mine now that don't have a huge logo on the side of the truck, because he needed stock footage that did not advertise anybody. That's the thing. How many of these reality shows do you see where they've got the shirt, blurred out, or they got the trucking company blurred out, or they got the company like Carlisle and Ice Road, or whatever that company is that does the Highway Through Hell, that they make a deal. Hey, we'll let you inconvenience us with your BS, but we're going to get paid. You're going to advertise our company. And that's exactly what that is. That's how this all works. So to sit there and say that you're going to pay somebody to promote your material for you, that's not how of said people, right? And if you are, you're running off the backs of others. You should just pretend or whatever that have interesting stories, and it's up to those individuals whether they email back and forth, whether they're able to follow up. Like me, I was emailed along with 12 or 15 other drivers, and I followed up. And he said that the lady told me that a lot of people didn't believe that it was a real thing, and it was. And so I don't believe that you have to pay for that kind of service. Now, unless you have a booking agent or, like a talent agency or anything of that nature, but if the biggest YouTubers aren't being used on national TV, I don't know how anybody else's story could get in, right? And even if they did, it doesn't cost anything to get in those doors. You just got to figure out which doors to go into. Discovery show I was a part of or tried out for was on the Weather Channel. But they do stuff for so I just want to put that out there because there's too many people asking for money from different directions. You get on Facebook, everybody wants you to contribute to a cause. Everybody wants to, like the whole birthday thing, for my birthday, I want you to donate this, and this, and this. And, with the cost of living going up, truck drivers get the short end of the stick, right? We're constantly, if you're an owner operator, you got equipment cost, you've got operation costs, you got tolls, you got fuel, you've got, even to get a sandwich is like $10, right? And then you got people begging for money in the parking lot. I had a guy approach me earlier wanting to know if I wanted to buy a Galaxy CB radio. I'm like, and the car looked like it was barely held together with duct tape, right? And it's like, yeah, that's not shady, right? And you got people asking for handouts on Facebook, on YouTube, and in person. And it's like the government wants their piece, the states want their piece. You got DOT, you got revenue. It's just like we're getting pulled from all sides and so to tug on people's hopes and dreams and try to make money off of that doesn't sit well with me, because we're already stretched thin. We're already stretched beyond belief. So why would you do that? Why would you do that? If somebody wants a book published about them, then they have to pay the cost for the book. I can go out and have any money invested in it, right? And if I did, it would be way less than $750, right? How do I know this? Because I've got relatives, I got friends that have published their own books, right? I got musician friends that are touring Japan and touring Europe simply because of stuff that they've done online. So it's not like you can't get out there, right? I've got a few connections. I don't sit there and brag about them. I don't sit there and say, well, I can do this, this, and this. No. I don't for it, right? And because when you're paying for a service, that service doesn't happen, then what legal repercussions are there, right? So I believe that there are cheaper and easier ways to go about something versus giving somebody money and hoping that they can. I mean, that's what talent agents are for. That's what like you guys have seen the ads in the newspaper. Hey, are you a Christian teen? We can put you in movies and modeling. Next thing you know, you're in white slavery, right? It's you got to be careful. Nothing is ever, if it's too good to be true, it is. Anyways, I figured there's a little drama in here, and I figured I had more people in here, but anyways. So that's what this weekend's live is about. Any comments, questions, stories, concerns about anything else? We can talk about anything you want. Are we buffering? Is that what the problem is? Is it because I didn't use a name and a title? Is that the problem? Might have lost you due to a poor connection. My day was... Yeah, I don't know. I've been... Supposedly I got Verizon the promised land, but it says 4G, but I think they're lying.
If you're still scooping one of those for me.
Well, it sucks because this was a good video, I thought. Oh well. Yep. Circle of death. Right. It might be 4G and just dropping packets. Right. I mean, I'm literally like just south of Atlanta, or I mean, sorry, but God forbid, right? Anyway, so I guess this video was completely wasted because I had a lot to say and it's been on my mind, and a friend of mine told me about what was going on in the YouTubes, and I was like, you know what? I actually have to say something about this. Notice I didn't use any names because that's not what this is about. This is about just buyer beware, and my situation cost me anything. Of course, I didn't get the show, so maybe that's, you know, maybe if I would have slipped the guy $100 or something. You know. But anyways, I always try to make these an hour. So if there's anything else you guys want to, YouTube didn't want me to get it out. Yeah, I don't blame them, Trucker Dean. I don't blame them at all. YouTube is cheaper than therapy, at least. You know, that's probably a pretty good comment. I know that when I'm, you know, I warned another YouTuber on Zello one time. I said, you know, if you're feeling stressed or mad, don't go on YouTube. I've done that, and I've been yelled at for it. Because when your emotions are running pretty high, the last thing you want to do is be on a big platform like this, you know. Yeah, it's very entertaining, but it can also, you know, be a negative too. But it is therapeutic in the sense that I get a lot of stuff off my chest, and also if I'm bored, you know, it's a great way to be bored, you know, the cure boredom. I mean, look at other Trucker James Best, you know, he'll do these 5-hour live feeds when he knows he's going to sit for a while, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I can't even imagine talking for 5 hours straight, you know. But James Best, we were talking about reality shows and the one time I tried out for them and how it didn't cost me anything. So, right? You know, anybody who is willing to sit in front of a camera and say, hey, look at me, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to tell you what to do, this is how it should be, and here's my insight, that's a narcissistic move. I don't care who you are. You could be the most pleasant, giving person, but why do you, well, okay, so let's say that all your intentions are good, like you just want to help people. Well, that's fine, but why do you help people? Because it makes you feel good. Boom, there it is, narcissism. Right? Thank you, TJ. Missouri is very windy today. I agree with you there. Yeah, James, well, I'll tell you what I was talking about earlier. You probably already know, but you know, I'm just, I don't know. I just hate to see a truck driver's hard-earned money go towards something that's not going to benefit them. And like I said, $750 times 20, that's $15,000. It's a lot of money. Props for that, right? Did I actually catch the turkey? No. No, I didn't. Other trucker James Best, you and I will have to have a conversation. I can't put, I'm not going to put names out here because I don't want to be accused of anything like starting drama or name dropping. You know, whenever, this is not for views. This is just a message I want to put out there that there are things that you should and should not pay for. So, I got some exercise in my Schneider beanie. Yeah, I wanted a beanie I didn't care about and was going to sweat in, but it was actually there was no sweating involved, man. It was cold. Um, but I felt pretty good. I'll tell you what. You know what makes a 5K successful is when you're not even up to the first mile yet, and you realize you got to pee like crazy. That was me. So after we were done, after we passed the finish line, I beeline for the nearest building, and was so it was actually more than a 5K, and my pace was faster towards the end of it because of the bathroom thing. And yesterday, but it was actually pretty good. And then we spent Thanksgiving with Kevin and Ollie and his wife in at Springfield Underground, where we were both picking up a load. So many times truckers pay for a crap load of things they shouldn't. Right. And and it's just kind of it's kind of sad because we're already stretched. I mean, people are already calling this a poverty level job, right? And eat, you normally wouldn't put yourself in, and then you got people begging for money from you or wanting payment for services that you don't really need, and it's just like, you got home bars up to your truck saying that they need gas money. I once had a guy approach me in a Dodge Challenger wearing a gold necklace. He had the newest Galaxy phone in his hand, and he actually had the audacity to beg me for money. Like, dude, that gold necklace can make that car payment for you. What the heck, And then you got people on YouTube asking for money, right? And it just it's I don't know. Now, Jeffrey had these consultations, but you got some very good knowledge if you wanted to get your own authority, or he could help you come up with a business plan. You got something for nothing, right? I mean, you got something for that money. I'm sorry. And there are years of experience of doing what he's doing that's behind that, right? And it's no different than OIDA charging for their information. It's no different than going to OIDA and paying for their membership. It's no different than giving your friend $20 for some knowledge because you're appreciative. That stuff's okay, but asking for non-refundable money for services that may or may not be acquired seems in bad taste to me. Now, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. If you're an owner-operator, you're constantly being asked for money, right? If I have an oil leak on the engine, just to dry clean the engine is like $300, right? And that's before they can even look at the truck, right? And so, you got, I once got charged by an APU place $75 to change a fuse, and then you get people online asking for money for all these services that you may or may not need. Come on. If you want to publish a book, there are ways to do it on your own. If you want to make music, there are ways to do it on your own. If you want to be on a reality show, there are ways to do it on your own. More than that, but there's companies that charge drivers for tools and equipment and a vast amount of other things that should be provided. Exactly. Exactly. I'm getting hit up every day here locally asking for donations to give to a charity since last Monday. There was a van going down I-10 with homeless and hungry wrote on it, right? Someone panhandling at a gas station most likely don't have gold or any dealer or pawn shop will pay money for. With companies charging for these things, it's like you got to pay fees to be employed along with everything you're saying, right? Do you know how much money it cost me to come over to Like Trucking? Zero. Nothing. Just the fuel to get up to Michigan. That was it. And then back down. Ralph Lodo, Amazon has an amazing platform. I'm writing a book right now. Right. You can hire editors. You can hire an editor to make sure that all your punctuation and your grammar is good, you know. And you can get that book published. You can even pick how, if it's a hardback or a paperback, and then you put it on Amazon to give you a barcode, and boom, you're selling your book. You are a published author. Now, are you on Barnes and Noble? No, but Amazon's taken over places like Barnes and Noble, right? And I agree, James Best does need to write a book. Some of the stuff he's told me is pretty incredible. And that's not a joke on him. That's for real. And I get it. There are times when you need to pay for services. There really is. A lot of money whenever it's chain up time. He's willing to go out there and chain up for you for a fee. You know? Something like that. You know, that's the money that both parties benefit from, right? You get your tires chained without getting dirty, and the guy's already dirty, and he. But, anyways, we're almost at an hour. Buyer beware. I have experience in these things, and I'm here to tell you that it doesn't cost that much money. I've never chained. I'd be willing more. Yep, in the truck. I would be like, hey, I'll give, $20 or whatever, right? Anytime there's a win, it's always great. But the issue is normally things are at a win-lose relationship. Exactly. And it comes at a cost, right? If I make a $750 investment with no return, anyways, I can see the circle of death, but yet I'm still moving. So, kind of weird. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? Good on your end. Good deal, James Best. I've had buffering issues, I guess. So I've missed out on my crowd. But trucking with Kevin and Ollie. What's up? I was just bragging about you, sir. Kevin and his wife put out a good spread for Thanksgiving. It was awesome. I kind of want to take some of that turkey home, Kevin. I should have grabbed some from you. What'd you do? You did it all, Kevin. You did it all. I think if there's going to be some kind of reality show, it should be trucking with dogs. I think people would get a kick out of that. Live PD is doing a show entirely about the dogs, about police dogs, right? And they're even going to have like a obstacle course competition with the police dogs come January. And my kids love watching Live PD because of the dogs. Like Lore from Springfield, Greene County, he was extremely popular with the kids there in Springfield. And might be interesting enough. But beyond that, I don't look for anything to be interesting. And there are stories of reality shows ruining people's career. Live PD is in your town? Yeah, they left Springfield. I guess Springfield got tired of putting up with their stuff. So Springfield had the first shooting fatality, I believe. An auto wreck that was a fatality. Hola, Southbound Jay. Are you working, Jason? Southbound Jay, you working? Brotherhood. Yep. It was awesome. Oh, no big deal, Kevin. It's rude to ask for leftovers, you know, when you're at a guest house, you know. So we try not to be rude. But anyways, guys, we're almost at an hour. If you like this video, if you want to get the notifications on time, maybe you need more people know about this or something. I don't know. Whatever all the other YouTubers say, right? Metalheads forever. Right, Red Monkey. Heck yeah, man. Drama bad and ugly of trucking reality sells, right? And that's what Ice Road Truckers is, right? So, but you are now. Well, as you guys can see, I'm in the truck. I had a good Thanksgiving hanging out with Kevin. And I'm in the South in an undisclosed location. And I deliver in the South near Atlanta. And then I pick up mud hopper. So I'm outside of my comfort zone. Everybody say, Steve, you need to get out of your comfort zone. Multiple stops are out of my comfort zone. Why? Because they usually don't end up working out. So, well, Jason, you ought to call me tomorrow. So, any of the like trucking guys that are working, call me tomorrow. We'll hang out. We'll talk. We'll chat. So, anyways, buyer beware. Okay, buyer beware. You're at home today, so you're out of your comfort zone. Why is your home not your comfort zone? That seems very interesting. Spend most driving a truck. Yeah, I hear you. My dad, when he was home more than 2 weeks, he got antsy. Even though he said he hated trucking, he got antsy when he was home for more than 2 weeks. A-hen. Southbound J. Oh, give me a shot. A-hen K. Jason, you okay? Southbound J, you alright? Anyways, this video is fizzled out. Thanks for watching, guys. Welcome, thanks for watching this week's edition of Weekend Live. And there you go. So, anyways, guys, take it easy. Peace.